It's 2 a.m. with Nathan. Isaiah 43:1. But now, thus says the Lord, He who created you, O Jacob, He who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. This is a sugar bowl. Sugar is how you say sugar in Czech. And I was thinking about how they first came about with sucralose. There were two scientists working in a lab, and they were working on a compound, and the one turned to the other and said, test it. And what he heard was, taste it. So he put it in his mouth, and wouldn't you know, it was exceptionally sweet. And that's how we got sucralose. What a bold, crazy thing to do based on miscommunication. Miscommunication doesn't always make us bold, though. Many times it makes us afraid. And that's why I'm so glad to have verses like this, Isaiah 43, verse 1, in the scriptures, to remind us clearly of God's message, that if we belong to Him, we do not need to be afraid. We don't need to be afraid because He created us. We don't know who made this virus, or at least all the details of how it was made and things like that, but we know the one who made the world and declared it was good. We know the one who made you and I. And it's good to know that the one who made us said, do not be afraid. I think about Jim Elliot, who said that, I am immortal until His work for me is done. In other words, God made me for a purpose. And as long as I am doing that purpose and He has me here, there's nothing that can harm me. He not only made us, but He formed us. He knit us together in our mother's womb. What a blessing that God formed us. We don't always know how this virus will react, and why some people, it doesn't seem to, they don't carry any symptoms and others carry a lot. And yet we know the one who is the master physician and knows it all. God is the one. And because we know Him, the one who formed us, we don't need to be afraid. God also says, I have redeemed you. This is good news. The cost that was paid on the cross is enough. My sins can be completely forgiven as I put my faith in Jesus Christ. What good news that I can be forgiven. And sometimes when I really mess up, I turn to God and I say, God, can you even forgive this? I really messed up here. And I hear God as plain as day saying, Nathan, did you want Jesus to hang longer on the cross? In other words, Jesus paid enough, didn't He, Nathan? And that's good news, that my sins can be completely forgiven. I do not need to fear anything because I have been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Finally, the really good news, that God both calls us by name and that we belong to Him. If we're disciples of Jesus, we belong to Him. That is good news. I think about John 1:12, where it says, if any believe in me, or called by my name, He gave the right to become children of God. Oh, that's good news. That God knows my name. That God wants to use me for His kingdom. I do not need to be afraid because even though I don't know all the problems of tomorrow, I know the one who holds tomorrow in His hands. As we look at all the fear and worry in the world, we can go through this day knowing we don't have to be afraid. God's message for those who belong to Him is clear. We do not need to fear because He created us, He formed us, He redeemed us. He knows our name and we are His. Why would I ever be afraid? If God is for me, who can be against me? I think about when my kids get scared and they come and they cuddle up in my lap. Maybe there was a storm outside. Maybe it was a bad dream. I hold them tight and I love them. But that's not what brings them the comfort that they can go to sleep again. What brings them the comfort is the reminder that I can give them that God is bigger. There's no monster they meet in their dreams that's bigger than God. There's no storm outside that's bigger than God. If God is for me, who can be against me? Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, and you are mine. Hold those words close and live fearlessly today.